Okuswala okuli mu Palamenti Banange ate kati nange binsobedde. Simanyi twatuuse ddi eno naye kati tugendeyo tubifune bulungi.
I like that. Eh? Yes, Honorable Saropendi. And Honorable Saropendi, sorry for the losses. Are so bad in 1 week to resolve.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, before I move, I must thank you for your consideration. This item was on the order paper. However, I lost my brother and we had burial on Friday. So it was complicated for me, and I was in touch with some members who unfortunately informed me that they had traveled to the north and they were not available this week. And when I looked at the order paper yesterday that was put on the WhatsApp group, it did not have this bill, this item. I only came in and found the matter, and that's why I had to excuse myself to get copies of both the minority and majority report so that I can acquaint myself with it. And this is why I was even requesting if we could defer to tomorrow. However, Right Honorable Speaker, considering even the members that are in the House, my seconders are not in the House of my motion.
You have many seconders.
But yes, I'm talking about when I was moving the motion, Right Honorable Speaker. They were also shocked when I called them because the argument was that the order paper released, they did not see the second amended order paper. And that's where the confusion has really been. And this has left me completely confused because I don't have all my documents available. I have an assistant who locked the office knowing that I was not coming to the office. That's why I was requesting that I organize myself better.
Honorable, move your motion. The bill.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to move that the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill be read for the second time.
Is the motion seconded? Honorable Komakes, Honorable Bigger Rose, Honorable Amos, Honorable Otuke Diantonde. Thank you. Honorable, would you love to speak to your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker, alcohol has for a very long time been consumed in this country. And over time, the country has been grappling with the need to regulate the manufacture, the sale, consumption, and access of alcohol in the country. The two pieces of legislation that existed then, the Nguli Act, Cap 86, and the Liquor Act, Cap 93, did not adequately address the current challenges of the alcoholism in the country, such as the alcohol addiction, the domestic violence, the child abuse, and increase in mental impairment cases in the country. The Liquor Act, Right Honorable Speaker, only captured the manufacture and sale of liquor in urban areas and municipalities, and yet we now know that there are so many trading centers that have mushroomed in almost every part in this country, and alcohol is sold at any time of the day. Some of these trading centers, Right Honorable Speaker, are even near schools. And even children have been able to access this alcohol. Initially, Right Honorable Speaker, recall that the Ministry of Health had to change the packaging from 50 mils to 200, but even the 200 mils is now accessed by people or children and people of all ages. So, Right Honorable Speaker, these acts had to be repealed because they were not addressing the challenge. And currently, as we speak, Right Honorable Speaker, alcohol is sold right from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next day. And of course, while people move that alcohol brings in income, we must look at the adverse effects of alcohol and how much government spends in treating all these complicated cases of diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure. And you are aware, Right Honorable Speaker, that majority of our people cannot actually afford these treatments. Some districts have tried to ensure that their people remain productive and come up with ordinances, Right Honorable Speaker. However, as a country, we need to have one piece of legislation, because even these ordinances, when they are sent from the districts, take time to be cleared by the Solicitor General. So, Right Honorable Speaker, it is in this spirit that I moved the Alcohol Control Bill 2023, and the bill focuses on the following areas. It's intended to actually protect individuals against dangers of excessive consumption of alcoholic drinks. We are aware that there are people, including high-profile people, who have lost their children and relatives as a result of consumption of alcohol. The alcohol also intends to protect consumers of alcoholic drinks from misleading or deceptive inducements. Right Honorable Speaker, you are all aware, colleagues, that there are a lot of drinks in the market, promising people all kinds of things. If you take this, you'll be like, you'll have a lot of energy, you can, move mountains and all that kind of thing. And people rush for some of these drinks. However, we all know, Right Honorable Speaker, that it's very unfortunate, in the absence of any piece of legislation, some of the producers of some of these alcoholic drinks mix this alcohol with very dangerous substances, Right Honorable Speaker. And the report that was issued to the Committee on Health and Trade from the Cancer Institute, and also, the Cancer Institute, clearly showed that nearly all the drinks which they sampled in the market, especially the liquors, had some of the very dangerous substances that would have an adverse effect on the health of the people. This bill also intends to protect persons under the age of 18 years from the dangers caused by the consumption of alcohol. We worked tirelessly, Right Honorable Speaker, amid this resistance, to support the bill, the Tobacco Control Bill by Honorable Baryomunsi. It also had similar challenges. So we need to protect our children from accessing this alcohol before they are 18 years of age. The bill also intends to help adopt and implement effective measures to eliminate illicit trade in alcohol, including the smuggling, illicit manufacturing, and counterfeiting of alcohol. And of course, promote and provide for treatment and rehabilitation programs for those addicted to or dependent on alcoholic drinks. Of course, this has a financial implication, but you know, Right Honorable Speaker, that currently we have Butabika Hospital that provides some of these rehabilitative services, and we also have the private sector, majorly the private sector, that provides these rehabilitative services, and they're expensive. The ordinary person can actually not afford. So most of these alcoholics or people who are addicted by alcohol are left to suffer in the villages. Right Honorable Speaker, in addressing the challenges we face today, the draft bill provides remedies, including, provisions for prohibition.
Honorable,
I'm concluding.
We usually go for object and principles.
I am concluding.
So let's conclude.
So the bill makes provision for prohibition of trade in alcoholic drinks without a license. We are aware that many people are actually selling these drinks without a license. Selling of any alcoholic drink in any premises. Remember, the Liquor Act provided you needed to have licensed premises to sell this liquor. However, with the repeal of both the Nguli and the Liquor Act, there is currently no piece of legislation to actually regulate these areas. The selling, supplying, conveying of alcoholic drinks or employing any person under the age of 18 in, for example, the bars, manufacturing or selling any alcoholic drink in sachets or packaging in a bottle of less than 250 mils, Right Honourable Speaker. We also, Right Honourable Speaker, as part of the objects of the bill, it also provides provisions for the enforcement of the Act and protection from personal liability of officers who have acted in good faith. Right Honourable Speaker, you are aware that we also have bars currently operating and selling drinks to people in uniform. This also is prohibited under this law. We are also prohibiting, Right Honourable Speaker, the sale of these drinks in public passenger vehicles, so that people, we've had road accidents in this country, and some of these road accidents arise out of, people consuming alcohol when they are actually on the road driving. So, Right Honourable Speaker, in a nutshell, just to inform the House that we benchmarked with countries that have regulation. Right Honourable Speaker, Kenya was one country that we moved to, and following the regulation of this alcohol, actually, the industry currently collects more than they were actually collecting, because currently only 35% of the alcohol in Uganda is regulated. The other 65% is illicit. So without a law, Right Honourable Speaker, the illicit alcohol will continue, and government is actually losing revenue on that aspect. So, Right Honourable Speaker, it is my humble appeal, honourable colleagues, that let us support our communities. We are not prohibiting the consumption of alcohol, but only regulating its production, regulating its hours of consumption, and then regulating, Right Honourable Speaker, the advertising of this alcohol. Because some of these things are the ones that encourage the young people to actually consume this alcohol. So, Right Honourable Speaker, the Ministry of Health did pass a policy, and just to let you know that by passing a policy, the law actually has come in to pick from this policy, and it's in that spirit that I've actually put this forward. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we need revenue, but we also need a healthy population that will be productive and support this economy. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Penda, I need you to sit far from Honourable Rioni. So I'm told the committee report is ready. Honourable Chair, and please just give us a summary, then the Hansard should capture the full report.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, thank you for giving us the time. For record purposes, the Committee on Trade and Health waited for the mover for the last 3 days till when the Health Committee had to travel. And Right Honourable Speaker, the Trade Committee is also travelling today. So we are very grateful that at least you have given us time to read this report. Right Honourable Speaker, before I read the report, allow me lay the report of the Joint Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industry and Health on the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023. I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me also to lay the minutes for the same report. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, on the 14th of November 2023, the Honourable Sarah Opendi Acheng, Woman Member of Parliament, Tororo District, read for the first time the Alcoholic Drinks Bill, the Private Members Bill, and it was referred to the Committees on Health and Tourism, Trade and Industry for consideration in accordance with Rules 129(1) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. For the purpose of this report, the two committees shall be referred to as a committee. Right Honourable Speaker. The objectives are right there. The report was uploaded. Honorable colleagues can check out on page 1. Because of time, I will not read them. The legislative and policy framework of the bill is equally there. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the bill attempts to address the loopholes as some laws that regulated alcohol use were repealed. The laws as discussed below, the Honorable hinted on them: the Enguli Manufacturers and Licensing Act, the Liquor Act, the Portable Spirits Act. I will not go into details. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, you can read from the report. Right Honorable Speaker, on page 4, the committees laid out properly the methodology, the different meetings we had. We met over 30 stakeholders on this matter, and members will read. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll continue to page 7. I request the person, yes, to move. Page 7. Right Honorable Speaker, the effects of consumption of an alcoholic drink. Alcohol is among the best commodities which generate internal revenue towards the national budget. However, although alcohol is important and is a source of revenue, it has different effects. One of those, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there is an effect on employment. There is also need, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there is also need to underscore the importance of the alcoholic industry in terms of job creation. According to the Uganda Alcohol Industry Association, an organization that brings together the alcoholic beverages manufacturers, the industry is responsible for direct employment of 804,002 people across the value chain, impacting over 6.3 million livelihoods across Uganda. This is per the Private Sector Foundation. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this is the formal one. It excludes all the other informal employed people under the alcoholic industry. Right Honorable Speaker, we'll look at other effect, which is revenue generation. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there is a table right there showing the contribution of revenue by the manufacturing sector in the alcoholic industry for financial years 2019-2020 to 2022 to 2023. Right Honorable Speaker, because of time, members can read through the table, but I'll note this. From the above table, the contribution of the manufacturing sector in the alcoholic industry has been registering an average increase of 19% for the last 4 years. From the years of 2019 to 2023, this contribution by the industry to the economy cannot be underrated. Right Honorable Speaker, according to the Uganda Manufacturers Association, the top 2 alcohol players, Right Honorable Speaker, being the Nile Breweries Limited, the Uganda Breweries Limited, contribute 1.1 trillion annually as tax revenue. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Colleagues, please let's have, I don't know whether there is something they served at lunch. The next one was put in. Please, let's. Honorable Chair, please.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the alcohol industry also contributes 205 billion towards the revenue by grain farmers in Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, grain farmers, we mean the whole entire value chain, from those that do the sorghum, the farmers, our local farmers, that do the cassava, that do the barley, they equally contribute to the economy. I have put it there. Right Honorable Speaker, another effect we have the health consequences.
Honorable Yon, leave Honorable Sechkubaron. I see you're pushing him out.
Right Honorable Speaker, among the challenges, we also have domestic violence. Alcohol abuse is one of the key factors that contribute to increased domestic violence. Notwithstanding, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, when we're interacting with so many stakeholders, like I've highlighted, majority failed to rule out that it's entirely alcohol that contributes to domestic violence. Right Honorable Speaker, there is the effect of public health burden. The treatment and prevention of alcohol-related alignments is also a burden to the health system. The lost productivity, Right Honorable Speaker, alcohol-related absenteeism and decreased work performance impact the economic productivity at both individual and society levels. Right Honorable Speaker, the members of the two committees, there are 4, came to these conclusions and observations and recommendations. 1, certificate of financial implication. The committee is arrived to the fact that whereas Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 requires that a bill shall be accompanied by a certificate of financial implication issued by the minister responsible for finance, the committee was not presented with the same by the sponsor of the bill. The committee is, however, alive to the Section 76(4) of the Public Finance Management Act, which states that the certificate of financial implication shall be deemed to have been issued after 60 days from the date of request of the certificate. The committee hence proceeded to consider the bill. Analysis of the bill. According to the World Travel and Tourism Council, the tourism sector contributes 2.1 billion to the economy of Uganda in 2022. This is equivalent to 4.7% of the country's GDP. In 2023, this contribution increased to 5.5%. This is still USD 400 million, less than what was contributed during pre-COVID 2019. The tourism sector requires all the support to recover from the effects of COVID-19, and the legal framework should support and not hurt recovery of the sector. According to 2021 Euromonitor study on illicit trade of alcohol in Uganda, it was found that the regulated alcohol industry only contributes for 35% of the alcohol consumed in Uganda, while illicit alcohol accounts for 65%. It is therefore crucial that government applies the right level of focus to curb significant problems of illicit alcohol trade in Uganda by putting in place the robust legal and regulatory framework with specific provisions to prohibit illicit alcohol, including native brews, which are increasingly becoming commercialized without being subjected to any production standards or payment of taxes. This creates an unfair playing field for legitimate alcohol players, since it does not pay related taxes. The committee observes that under the memorandum of the bill does not clearly state the problem that it is trying to cure. It is important to identify what mischief the bill intends to cure. The other question is whether the proposed regulation is the best for the action in the circumstances. The bill also does not indicate how it intends to eliminate illicit trade in alcoholic drinks. The committee observes the need for a detailed regulatory impact assessment of the alcohol industry on the economy. The stakeholders who interfered with the committee expressed mixed reactions on different provisions of the bill. One of the outstanding concerns was the absence of a detailed cost analysis of the economic benefits of the alcoholic industry in terms of job creation, tax base, and income earned from the sale of alcohol. it is crucial for government to carry out a detailed impact assessment of alcohol to the economy. This is buttressed by some clauses in the bill as discussed below. Honorable colleagues, close of time. We'll go straight to page 7. Page 7. The committee observes that the restriction on sale of alcohol at fuel stations assumes that all alcohol purchased at fuel stations is consumed at the purchase point, which is misguided and unrealistic. Shops at fuel stations are shopping points just like any other outlets selling alcohol, and are intended to provide convenience to consumers who may purchase the product for many reasons, including future consumption and gifting. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Traffic and Road Safety Act 1998, as amended, imposes penalties on consumption of an alcoholic drink while driving. Therefore, the law already addresses the mischief of drink driving if that is what the clause is intended to address. Clause 14, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it seeks to regulate the time of sale of alcohol on the different days. Colleagues, this is very important. Clause 14 seeks to regulate the time of sale of alcohol drinks on the different days. The committee observes that restrictions amount to an infringement on the economic rights to carry out lawful trade and business guaranteed under Article 42 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda by limiting the hours when business can work. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the clause does not take into account different employments, including those who work during the night times. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there are those who work at night and they would equally want to enjoy during daytime. So when you restrict, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, you are putting a restriction on the night workers who want to enjoy during daytime. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, those on holidays and on leave, what we termed as leisure tourism, and wish to enjoy their rights to alcoholic drinks during the daytime. The restriction on selling hours will impact the sales volumes, which will ultimately reduce the levels of raw materials demanded from the farmers for their use in the manufacture of alcohol. Colleagues, equally this is important. For example, sorghum, barley, millet, cassava, wheat, corn, fruits, and thus will have an effect on the economy. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, what the committee was trying to address in this, also by regulating on the time, this will reduce on the entire value chain. Majority of our farmers are the #1 suppliers of these manufacturers. So when you start reducing, when you reduce, it does not affect only the consumer, it affects right from the farmers. So Right Honorable Speaker, the members thought that would be very unfair to our farmers. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is important to underscore the entire alcoholic drinks value chain, including the livestock and poultry farmers that supply meat and chicken to food vendors around bars. Right Honorable Speaker, like I had earlier stated, this, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, like I had earlier insinuated, this is a big value chain. Right Honorable Speaker, when you look at the nyama choma, the chapati.
Chair, we have a procedural matter. Honorable Guzuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have listened to the presenter of the report. I have noticed when she's speaking against the bill, the tone and where I sit, she's enticing me to buy into the report. Won't it be procedural right that she declares her interest? So that...
Thank you. Now, Honorable, I think it will be procedural right for you not to accept to be enticed. Honorable, you're managing Honorable Guzuri properly. Continue.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Colleagues, that pertinent issue I was about to conclude on it. That was about the poultry farmers, the livestock and poultry farmers that supply meat, chicken to food vendors around bars. Colleagues, you have noticed these bars, oftentimes whenever there is a bar, there is a nyamachomo close, there is a chips lady close, there is a Rolex person close, there is a Mulokonyi also close, and the chapati and Rolex equally. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, all those will be entirely affected by the time. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, among the affected people will also be the motorcyclists, the boarders. Colleagues, this is equally pertinent. In this night business, they are the boarders that are always waiting for clients to retire home. They are always parked either by the bar or by the restaurant somewhere. They will equally be affected, Right Honorable Speaker. The special hire drivers, the security guards, these are the bouncers. The artists, those are the musicians, the comedians, the karaoke artists, among others. Therefore, the majority committee believes that if there is an attachment on time, this whole entire value chain will be adversely affected. Further, the bill presumes, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the bill presumes that the bars and restaurants will remain open to sell soft drinks while restricting the sale of alcoholic drinks after 22 hours. This is not only impractical, but onerous to enforce. Right Honorable Speaker, the bill says when we close the bars at 10, soft drinks will be sold. When we interacted with the very many stakeholders, Right Honorable Speaker, on this matter, one stakeholder said it is possible for someone to buy their drinks and stock them in advance and wait for the close of time, because the bill is looking at the sale and not the consumption. So I am allowed to stock my drinks in advance and consume past 10, which we thought equally is impractical, and it is hard to enforce, to buy soft drinks and differentiate them from alcoholic drinks. The committee also observes discrimination and unfairness under Clause 14.2, which allows supermarkets or depots to sell alcoholic drinks between 10 hours and 22 hours, and under 14.3, which allows sale of alcoholic drinks in nightclubs, theaters, theatres, bars, and trade shows without time limitations. This would directly discriminate the other businesses involved in the sale of alcoholic drinks. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, if there is a limitation on time to the bars, and we say the nightclubs can openly sell, the trade shows and the rest, that means all bars will now fidget to turn their bars into nightclubs. And if there is a restriction on time, that means that exactly 10, 12, 22 hours or 10 p.m., all the would-be who would have taken a lot now would move on the streets at the same time.
Order,
Right Honorable
Sarah.
Speaker, the committee
Order.
envisages.
Order, Honorable Sarah.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have carefully listened to the chair of the Trade Committee. It is very unfortunate that the chair of the Trade Committee is completely biased, because I expect the Committee of Trade to come up with proposals that instead of 10 p.m., let it move to 2 p.m. on a working day, 2 a.m. on a working day, and on a weekend leave it open. And then she is here saying that we are actually infringing on the rights of, for example, musicians. We have left the weekends open, Right Honorable Speaker. So the Honorable Member is actually not being fair to this House. And this is why, Right Honorable Speaker, I had preferred that the members of the of the Health Committee, who majority are in the field, actually they reached out to me. They wanted to be present here. It would be good that the debate is carried out when all the others are here. Thank you, Right Honorable.
So, no, Honorable colleagues, number one, Honorable colleagues, number one, the chair is reading a position of the committee, not her position. Number two, the said members of the Health Committee didn't sign the minority report. Majority signed the majority report, including the chair, and is here. So, only three members. So, let the chair finish the report. Chair conclude, we debate. No, let's... No,
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
This is the report of the committee being read. Let us receive the report.
Honorable Speaker, for Honorable Sarah Opendi to be happy, I will read the report verbatim, but equally it's in that manner. Right Honorable Speaker, the committee envisages a likelihood of increased illicit trade sales, as was witnessed during COVID-19 lockdown. It will increase cartels and black market businesses and encourage corruption, as people will be looking forward to accessing alcoholic drinks outside the stipulated time. The committee is further concerned that the tourism sector will be made less attractive by the said restrictions. Most inbound tourists come to Uganda for holiday, and restricting their leisure will deny them the opportunity to freely enjoy Uganda's heritage and night economy. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, limiting the time of sale under Clause 14 of the bill may not necessarily translate into people drinking less. Thus, the clause will be redundant. High consumption of alcohol may not be tagged to the amount of time taken while drinking. Right Honorable Speaker, we interacted with very many stakeholders, and really the doctors gave us, Right Honorable Speaker, Clause 17 seeks to regulate the advertising of alcoholic drinks. Subclause 2 obligates the minister by regulations to regulate advertisement of alcohol, alcoholic drinks and alcohol. Subclause 3 imposes a fine of 20 million or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 10 years for a person who contravenes the clauses. The committee observes that the clause is redundant, since there are other legal frameworks that deal with the quality of advertisement. Right Honorable Speaker, the clause is not necessary because there is already a regulatory framework in place under UNBS. Right Honorable Speaker, there are also existing rules by the Uganda Communications Commission. Right Honorable Speaker, Clause 19A seeks to grant powers to authorize officers to examine or conduct a scientific test on alcoholic drinks to ascertain whether they meet the standards prescribed in the regulations. The committee notes that the function of setting standards in Uganda is the mandate of Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Right Honorable Speaker, the Attorney General reiterates this observation in his submission to the committee. It was also the considered opinion of the Attorney General that the bill is inconsistent with and contravenes various laws of the land, including the 1995 Constitution, the Employment Act, the UNBS Act, Cap 20, among others, and therefore should not be enacted into law. Clause 27 seeks to regulate the alcohol drinks in a package of not less than 500 mils. The committee observes that this clause is in direct conflict with the weights and measures. Right Honourable Speaker, we have that rule, also, we have that law. In addition, the purpose of the bill is to, among others, control excessive or high consumption of alcohol. Therefore, to increase the packaging of alcohol to 500 mils, which will increase on the quantities of alcohol consumed. Thus, the clause seems to advocate for excessive consumption of alcohol rather than allowing small packagings. Right Honourable Speaker, the provisions fail to take into consideration the significant levels of investment by the manufacturers. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I'll go to the conclusion of the committee. In light of the above, the committee concludes that whereas it is necessary to regulate the manufacturer, importation, sale, consumption, and advertisement of alcoholic drinks, the bill in its current form falls short of addressing the real challenges like illicit trade in alcoholic drinks, alcohol abuse, quality control, enforcement mechanisms, personal freedoms, economic impact, and efficacy of such controls, among others in the alcohol industry. The challenge lies in finding the right balance that safeguards public health without unduly infringing on the economic rights and freedoms of individuals and government revenue. Whereas the bill was expected to fill the gaps that were created by the repeal of the above acts, like I had earlier mentioned, the bill seeks to exempt the manufacture and consumption of illicit or native alcoholic drinks for domestic use from application of the law. And yet, the committee was informed that the illicit or native alcohol drinks are the largest forms of alcohol drinks in Uganda. If left unregulated, it will continue to be a danger to both the economy and the health of Ugandans. The committee received significant proposed amendments to the bill from stakeholders, which, if considered, would have far-reaching implications on the economy and significantly change the nature of the bill. Additionally, this being a private member's bill, the committee is constrained to consider the proposed amendments that have an effect of imposing a financial charge on the consolidated fund. Some of such proposed amendments include establishment of an alcohol treatment and rehabilitation fund for rehabilitation of alcoholic disorders, inclusion of dangers of alcohol abuse in education institutions' curricula, provision of public sensitization and education on the harmful health, economic and social consequences of alcohol abuse, among others. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the committee therefore recommends that this August House should not proceed on the motion for the second reading of the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I beg to report.
Thank you, Honourable. You have a minority report? You need to acknowledge that. No, Honourable Komakech, they've appointed Honourable.
You had asked.
No, Honourable Dr. Batua has, Honourable Dr. Pio has appointed Honourable Komakech to read it on his behalf.
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, we have the minority report.
Thank you. Honourable Komakech also do for us, summarize. I'm happy there was a member who had volunteered. I want to thank you. No, I just want to make a clarification. Honorable Pamela Kamugo has no minority report. Okay? We had just requested, in case all the other minority members, report members are not around, a member would volunteer. and that's how members had asked her to read. But she's for the majority report, according to what she has told. So, Honorable Komakech.
Right Honorable Speaker, the minority report of the Joint Committee on Trade, Tourism and Industry and Committee of Health on the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023. Introduction. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the Alcohol Drinks Control Bill was read for the first time on Tuesday.
Honorable, you don't need to go to that. Just go on to the salient issues. Because all those ones, Honorable Sarah went through the, yeah.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker,
but
for your
on
guidance.
introduction of when the private members bill came, really, we go back to that. You go to the salient issues of dissent.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. That's point 3, dissenting observations. 3.1, the general conclusion and way forward on the bill. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, in order to put forth our arguments for the dissenting opinion, we shall discuss the general conclusion and recommendations first, because it lays the foundation for the dissent. Whereas the main report recommends that this August House should not proceed on the motion for the second reading of the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023, we contend that the bill is sufficient to regulate the alcohol sector and only requires a few amendments, as is usually the case for the most bills that are considered in this August House. For it to have effective implementation, we further contend against the conclusion by the main report that amending the bill would significantly change the nature of the bill basing on Rule 129, 4 and 132.2 of our Rules of Procedure, which empower a committee, while examining a bill referred to it, to propose and accept proposed amendments in the bill as it considers fit. If the amendments, including new clauses and new schedules, are relevant to the subject matter of the bill, as I will read the amendments proposed, honorable members, you will realize that the amendments are not only few as to significantly change the nature of the bill, but are relevant to the subject of alcohol control and hence not reason enough to make the committee to reject the bill, without giving it the examination it deserves, and proposes amendments where necessary. Our conclusion is that the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 is a necessary bill, which, if enacted into law, will go a long way in resolving the challenges that exist in the alcohol sector. And we recommend that Alcohol Drinks Control Bill 2023 be read the second time and do pass with proposed amendments. 3.2, analysis and observation of the following pertinent matters. 3.21, the bill does not state the mischief it seeks to cure. One of the points of dissent from the majority report is the observation that under the memorandum to the bill does not clearly state the problem that it is trying to cure. Neither does the bill identify the mischief it intends to cure. We contend that the bill in a very clear term states the mischief it intends to cure in both its long title and memorandum. The last paragraph of the memorandum of the bill clearly provides that one of the consequences of high consumption of alcoholic drinks is on productivity of the consumer. It also enumerates the need to regulate the manufacturer and sale of alcohol, as well as the need to protect the children from easy accessibility of alcohol. One of the defects cited is the repeal of the Enguli Manufacture and Licensing Act, which exposes communities to consumption of unregulated crude alcohol, which is harmful. Suffice to note is the fact that a memorandum of bill does not form part of an act of parliament, so it is so its inadequacy cannot weaken the intended impact of the bill, especially when the long title and the objects of the bill clearly state the intention of the bill and the mischief it seeks to cure. I will produce the long title for purpose of clarity, and I have highlighted the mischief as well. An act to regulate the manufacture, importation, sale, consumption, and advertisement of alcoholic drinks. To prohibit accessibility of alcoholic drinks to persons below 18 years of age, to amend the Industrial Licensing Act, Cap 91, repeal the Portable Spirits Act, Cap 97, and for related matters. 3.22, need for an impact assessment of alcohol to the economy and health of the country before processing the bill. Right Honorable Speaker, the majority report indicates that in November 2019, Uganda developed the National Alcohol Control Policy following broad consultations with key government sectors, regulatory and other agencies and civil society organizations. The policy provides a framework within which government of Uganda, in association with other key stakeholders, are to develop and implement targeted alcohol control interventions in the best interest of all Ugandans. As is observed by the majority report, the development of the National Alcohol Control Policy arose out of wide consultations with various stakeholders. This consultation, in other words, could be termed as an impact assessment of alcohol on the citizenry and indeed out of the consultations. It was discovered by government that the unregulated alcohol consumption causes heavy burden of infectious disease and an upsurge in the occurrence of non-communicable disease such as hypertension, cancer, diabetes, mental illness, and chronic heart diseases, which damage nearly every organ in the body and as well as induce alterations in most of the brain structures due to its psychosis active nature, in addition to affecting productivity and social relations if consumed excessively. We further note that the development of National Alcohol Control Policy was a positive step by government towards regulating the alcohol sector, and since the Constitution empowers Parliament under Article 79 to make laws on the matter for the peace, order, development, and good governance of Uganda, and under Article 94 to exercise this power through bills, it is right and just that Parliament considers the substance and intention of the bill, and where possible, propose amendments rather than relegate its constitutionally granted power. Honorable members, if we do not consider this bill for second reading, not only shall we be doing a disservice to policy which has no binding force in case of non-compliance due to absence of sanctions, but we shall also not carry out our legislative function expected.
Procedure, Honorable Roland.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, the honorable member reading the minority report is trying, the report is like convincing members of Parliament instead of showing us areas of dissent, as it's supposed to be.
No, but
so are we proceeding well, Right Honorable Speaker, if it is more of convincing than showing us the areas of dissent?
Thank you. Honorable colleague, each committee report is designed to convince you to go to their direction. The previous one was accused of convincing. Now this one is... So these are issues you can raise during debate.
Honorable members, if we do not consider this bill for second reading, not only shall we be doing a disservice to the policy which has no binding force, in case of non-compliance due to absence of sanctions, but we shall also not carry out our legislative function expected of us by the people who represent, and hence create a gap in the regulation of sector which has proved harmful to the health of our people, as per the statistics and majority report has put forth. Lastly, the lawmaking process as enumerated in the Constitution of Uganda and rules of procedure does not have a requirement of an impact assessment before a bill is enacted. It would be derogatory to require a private member of parliament who is empowered by the Constitution under Article 94(4)(b) to move a private member's bill to first establish whether government made an impact assessment of the area of subject of matter. I implore the members of this august House from setting such a precedent, as it will curtail a constitutional granted right. 323, regulation of native alcohol by the bill. The majority report rightly observes that the 2021 Euromonitor study on illicit trade of alcohol in Uganda found that regulated alcohol industry only accounts for 35% of all alcohol consumed in Uganda, while illicit alcohol accounts for 65%. The majority report also notes the need for government to apply the right level of focus to curb significant problems of illicit alcohol trade in Uganda by putting in place robust legal and regulatory framework with specific provisions to prohibit illicit alcohol, including native brews, which are increasingly becoming commercialized without being subjected to any production standards or payments of taxes. However, we dissent on the observation that the bill does not provide for native alcohol nor indicate how it intends to eliminate illicit trade in alcoholic drinks. We contend that the bill explicitly regulates native alcohol as illustrated in the following clauses. The interpretation section defines native liquor as an intoxicating drink which is manufactured in accordance with the customs and cultural practices of Uganda other than by distillation. Clause 4D provides that for the purpose of this act, the licensing authority for the sale of native liquor in a sub-county shall be the Assistant Chief Administrative Secretary, and in a town council or division shall be the town clerk. Clause 5.3 provides a person who intends to manufacture for sale or sell native liquor shall apply to the relevant licensing authority for a license. Clause 22D prohibits a person from manufacturing native liquor for sale without license. This section of the bill explicitly regulates the manufacture and sale of native alcohol and its essence in illicit alcohol. Clause 2C provides one object of bill as to provide for measures to eliminate illicit trade in alcoholic drinks. Clause 22 provides for the prohibition of manufacturing, importation, or sale of alcohol without license and contrary to the provision of the Act. Clause 2C, read together with Clause 22, prohibit illicit trading in alcoholic drinks, and hence this is proof that the bill regulates illicit trade in alcohol. Honorable Speaker and members, being that we understand the great danger that native alcohol possesses to the health, our citizens, we have made the following proposals for amendments to the bill in regard to native alcohol.
Such amendments come when you go to committee stage. Okay? Yeah. And they also come with a justification when you go to committee stage. Yeah, but you know when we go to committee stage is when we go into all that. That's the process.
Right Honorable Speaker, I take your guidance in.
Yeah. That's Honorable Sarah.
Right Honorable Speaker, when I read the minority report, because the majority report stated that the bill is actually not talking about illicit alcohol, neither is it regulating it. That's the reason why the minority report is now trying to show you the various clauses where actually illicit alcohol is being regulated in the proposed bill. That is why he was reading those clauses.
Yes, I
would-
allowed him to do that, okay?
Yeah,
He
so-
did that. But now, even when you propose what you're amending and you're justifying, that's committee
Okay,
stage.
yeah, maybe you can just highlight those
Yeah,
areas
that's
in
very
response to the majority report.
And also they gave a summary. So give a summary. We go on debate. We need time for debate.
Right Honorable Speaker, I take your guidance in kind, and I beg you allow me only highlight 3.2 licensing of manufacture and sale of alcoholic drinks. Members, you'll read through. That will take me to 3.25. Location of sale of alcohol was also another point of interest where alcohol is being sold. Some
Honorable colleague, the whole report will be captured on the Hansard, like we did for the main report. Even the whole of minority report will be captured on the Hansard.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'll go straight to restrictions on time of sale, if you may allow. Right Honorable Speaker, we dissent on the observation of the majority report that by limiting the time of sale under clause 14 of the bill may not necessarily translate into people drinking less. Thus, the clause will be redundant. According to the National Alcohol Policy and the World Health Organization, one of the control measures of controlling excessive consumption of alcohol is limiting accessibility of the alcoholic drinks. One of the objects of the bill under clause 2A is to regulate consumption of alcohol, and there is no better practical way to do it than by regulating accessibility. Suffice to note that when Uganda Breweries Limited, Nail Breweries Limited, and the Uganda Alcohol Industry Association appeared before the committee as the major players in the alcohol sector, they welcomed the clause on limitation of time and made a few proposals for adjustment in the time, which we have captured in the recommendations. The submissions of these three entities are attached as Annex A, Annex B, and Annex C, respectively. In addition, literature review revealed that a number of countries have prescribed restrictions of time for sale of alcohol, and hence Uganda will not be the first country to restrict time of sale of alcoholic drinks as illustrated below. In Sweden, Right Honorable Speaker, in Sweden, sale of alcohol must not be carried out before 11 a.m. Most licenses allow liquor services between 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Some restaurants have limited hours on weekends, but are allowed to serve longer on weekends. Many dance venues and bars are allowed to serve until 3 a.m. or 5 a.m., often combined, Right Honorable Speaker, with the condition that restaurants has a doorman to enforce the closure time of similar controls. Right Honorable Speaker, I'll go to advertisement due to time. Advertisement, then I conclude. Advertisement. Clause 17.6 to regulate advertisement of alcoholic drinks. Subclause 2 obligates the minister by regulations to regulate advertisement of alcoholic drinks. In relation to subclause 2, which empowers the minister by regulations to regulate advertisement of alcoholic drinks, we agree with the observation of the Joint Committee that Uganda Communications Commission Act 2013 empowers the Uganda Communications Commission to regulate advertisement in Uganda, and further the Uganda National Bureau of Standards puts in place standard further that the Uganda National Bureau of Standards puts in place standards US EAS 38 2014, which regulates against labeling information that is false, misleading, deceptive, or is likely to create an erroneous impression regarding the character of a product. Therefore, if a provision on advertisement is left in this bill, it will result in duplication of roles in addition to creating of confusion in the industry. Conclusion. In light of the worrying statistics by World Health Statistic Report 2023, which indicates that Uganda boasts a high per capita alcohol intake, topping the list in Africa and placing 5th globally, and the Uganda National Household Survey, UBOS 2021, which revealed that young adults aged 18 to 35 years constitute the highest percentage of drinkers, and further that on average a Ugandan consumes 12.21 liters of pure alcohol annually, hence exceeding safe limits and hence at risk of getting many chronic diseases. We conclude that there is urgent need to regulate the manufacture, importation, sale, consumption, and advertisement of alcoholic drinks in Uganda. The bill, together with the proposed amendments, will go a long way in putting in place a robust and holistic law that will address challenges like illicit trade in alcoholic drinks, alcohol abuse, quality control, and above all, protection of the health of the future generation of this country. Finally, as was noted in the main report, the bill will also fill the gaps that were created by the repeal of the Nguli Manufacturing and Licensing Act Cap 86 and the Liquor Act Cap 93 regarding the regulation of manufacturing, sale, and consumption of native alcohol, which, if left unregulated, will continue to be a danger to both the economy and health of Ugandans. It is my humble appeal that the House adopts recommendations laid down in this report and allows the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 to be read for the second time, subject to following amendments. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, I've known colleagues I should take out when I'm broke and those whom I shouldn't risk from how you are reacting. But there are really salient issues which were raised, especially on the constitutionality and all that. Attorney General, I would want to hear from you as we open the debate.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, I must state from the onset that the private member did not get benefit of the assistance from the Attorney General's chambers as required by Article 94(4). And some of the things that I may point out may point to that. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, this bill, in our view, offends Article 93(8)(2) of the Constitution, which provides that you shall not proceed on a bill which has a financial implication on the consolidated fund or on an alteration of the same. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, that is why Article 94(4)(c) and Rule 121 of the Rules of Procedure require a member to get assistance from the department that manages a bill that is before the House. And from the reading of the majority report, you can actually clearly see that the implementation of this bill, if passed by this House, will have an effect on the consolidated fund. So for that reason alone, Right Honorable Speaker, I'd be moving that the bill be rejected by the House. However, I wish to add, let me finish, then you clarify. Right Honorable Speaker, Clause 1B of this bill, actually contradicts the very purpose of this bill.
No, just please, honorable colleagues, when you say twice, I've heard you. Okay, it's my right to pick you. Yes, and I usually pick depending on circumstances. I just want, even me, I'm guided here. So when I call on the Attorney General, you know that even me as a presiding officer, I want to benefit from his guidance. So Attorney General, please.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, this bill creates also another challenge, which is it offends a number of laws that have been passed by this House. The regulation of standards is under the Uganda National Bureau of Standards Act. As I have guided here before, if we continue with having subject matter laws, it will help us in guiding the nation. So the provisions here that offend the Uganda National Bureau of Standards law should be removed. Again, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, this bill will contradict the Employment Act because it is looking to guide on the issue of employment of persons and minors. This is both governed by the Employment Act and the Children's Act. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, we have a law which provides for industrial licensing. Industrial licensing, when you're setting up a factory, is done by the Industrial Licensing Act. And this is what governs all manufactories. That is big and small. But if we now create another section which is dealing with a section of manufactories, we are likely to cause contradiction in implementation. Again, the National Building Review Board, under that act, we have provided for the management of building in this country. So when we start breaking down these issues into a different law, then that means when we are reading the law in respect to homes, we go to another law, then we deal shops, we go to another law, we go to another law for alcohol, for food. It will become very difficult and expensive in implementing. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, there is nothing in this bill which is not regulated by an existing law, except the time, and which also can be managed through licensing. Yeah, we have licensing laws which license the use of premises in different places. So, Right Honorable colleagues, I strongly advise and pray that in order to avoid causing regulatory confusion, we wholly reject this bill, and then the good ideas that we have picked up here, we can find the necessary laws where they are supposed to be input to regulate the. I beg to submit. I thank you.
Honorable Ogon, Honorable Roland, Honorable Bashisha, Honorable Biga. Then Honorable Cooper. Debate. The debate is. Yes, procedure. Let me first speak this procedure matter.
Yeah, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Before we proceed to debate, my understanding is that once a matter of law has been raised before you, you cannot proceed unless you, the Speaker, has determined. And the question raised by the learned Attorney General is a point of law. And he made reference correctly to Article 93. What is required from you, Mr. Speaker, is to make pronouncement whether, in your opinion, you think by ruling there is a charge on the consolidated. Because if you read this article very well, which says Parliament shall not, unless the bill or the motion is introduced on behalf of the government, and A starts with the word proceed. Even in B starts with the word proceed, meaning at the point this matter of law is raised, if the House agrees that there is a charge, we are stopped from proceeding. If we go to debate now without determining this point of law, it would raise questions. That's why I'm asking that before we even debate, you, the Speaker, should, if you rule that it doesn't, then we shall proceed. But if you say it does, in your opinion, we stop at this moment.
Yeah, thank you. You know, Honorable colleagues, sometimes I try to be as accommodative as possible and liberal because I know the situation, but indeed, like Honorable Jonathan, where the law commands, where the law commands, I'm really, my hands are tied, I'm constrained. Okay? So I don't know, honorable colleagues, listen to me. No, listen to me. This is where the law commands. I don't want to make this decision alone. I want it to be our decision. I don't want it to be, in my opinion, alone. Now, when we proceed to second stage, okay, in case we do, we go into all these details. Okay? We go into all these details. Now, me, to be clear here, I'm going to put for you a question. If you don't want us to proceed, you will say no. If you want us to proceed, you will also say yes. I now put the question that the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 be read the second time. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay. The nays have it. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, House adjourned to tomorrow at 2 p.m.
House adjourned tomorrow at 2 p.m. Byebyo. Mwenge mbera za mwenge. Tekere kwaragana ku mwenge ligenda kuddamu okusomebwa tulabe ebinaava bivaamu owulidde bye bagendera byaga okutereeza n'okubanga bakwatako byonna tubirinde ate nja tunijja kuba tubiraba nyawo wetuli awo wekulwaki wetuli tweyongera okwesabira eggwanga lyaffe si byangu.